Have you ever wondered why no matter how much money you make, it never feels like enough? You start earning more, but somehow, instead of feeling on top of your finances, you feel like you're still running on a treadmill, never quite reaching the finish line. Welcome to the never-ending cycle of more money, a trap so many of us fall into without even realizing it. Today, we're diving deep into this cycle and understand why it happens. More importantly, we'll uncover how you can escape it and stop chasing financial goals that only move further away as you approach them. If you're tired of feeling like you're always one step behind your money goals, you're in the right place. And, of course, before we dive in, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on future content that might just change your financial life for the better. Now, let's get started. It turns out, this desire for more isn't a modern phenomenon. Kings, emperors, and today's billionaires all fall prey to the same desire. No matter how much wealth they accumulate, there's always a hunger for more. Take the Roman Empire, for example. At its peak, it was the wealthiest civilization the world had ever seen. Yet, the emperors continued to conquer more land, more gold, and more resources, driven by the insatiable thirst for expansion. Fast forward to the present, and you'll see tech moguls and CEOs doing much the same, always striving for the next deal, the next acquisition, the next billion. But here's the irony. Whether it was ancient kings or modern-day entrepreneurs, the end goal was never just the money itself. It was the feeling that money represents: freedom, power, security. Yet, in the quest for more, they, and we, often lose sight of the fact that enough can never truly be defined if the goal keeps moving. Now, let's dig into something a little more personal: how your brain is wired to keep you running on that financial treadmill. There's a psychological concept called Hedonic Adaptation, and it explains a lot about why more money never feels like enough. Picture this. You've been dreaming about buying that new car. You've been saving, planning, and maybe even fantasizing about how it'll feel driving off the lot. Then the big day comes. You finally get it. It feels amazing for a while. But a few months later, that same car you worked so hard for, it's just a regular car now. The excitement fades, and suddenly you're thinking about an upgrade. This is the hedonic treadmill at work. The more you get, the more your baseline expectations adjust. We quickly adapt to new levels of income, lifestyle, or luxury, and what once made us happy soon becomes the new normal. It's not just you. This is how all our brains work. And here's where things get tricky. If you're always adapting to a new baseline, you'll always want more. That's why the pursuit of money can feel like an endless loop. The finish line keeps moving, and no matter how fast you run, you never quite get there. Here's the funny part. Even though we know this, we keep doing it. You'd think, logically, we'd realize that chasing more money won't bring long-term happiness, but the truth is, we're conditioned to want the next big thing. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: social pressure. It's one of the biggest drivers behind the never-ending cycle of more money. Whether we admit it or not, we've all felt the subtle tug of trying to keep up with the people around us. Your friend buys a bigger house, your neighbor gets a new car, or your colleague goes on a luxurious vacation. Suddenly, your perfectly fine life feels inadequate. It's called keeping up with the Joneses, and it's a trap that ensnares everyone at some point. The world we live in now makes this even worse. With social media, we are bombarded with images of people living their best lives: perfect vacations, high-end purchases, designer everything, and it's hard not to compare. Here's the irony. Those very people you're trying to keep up with, they're probably doing the same thing, trying to keep up with someone else. It's a vicious cycle, and it's one of the most effective ways to stay stuck in the endless pursuit of more money. What's worse is that more often than not, It's not even about needing those things. It's about the appearance of success. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you bought something because you really needed it? And when was the last time you bought something because it made you feel like you were keeping pace with the people around you? The pressure to keep up pushes us further into the cycle, and unless you consciously decide to stop, it's a never-ending race where no one really wins. Let's dive deeper into the idea of freedom. We're often told that more money equals more freedom, the ability to travel, buy what we want, and live life on our terms. But here's the uncomfortable truth. More money can actually make you feel less free, not more. This is the freedom trap, and it's another key part of the never-ending cycle of more money. The more you earn, the more you spend. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it happens to almost everyone. You get a raise, and instead of saving it or investing it wisely, you upgrade your lifestyle. Maybe you move into a bigger house, or you trade in your car for something flashier. Suddenly, your expenses rise to match your income, and instead of feeling free, you feel trapped by the very things that were supposed to give you freedom. Now, you have to keep earning that higher income just to maintain the lifestyle you've built. That extra income you worked so hard for, it's gone, eaten up by your new expenses. Instead of being able to breathe easy, you find yourself tied to your job, your bills, and your stuff. This is why so many people who make more money don't actually feel any richer. They're stuck in a cycle where they need to keep making more just to maintain the life they've built. And the more they make, the more they spend. It's a financial prison, and the bars are made out of their own choices. So how do we escape this cycle? It all starts with redefining what enough means for you. Here's a hard truth. If you don't know what enough looks like, you'll never find it. It's like chasing a mirage in the desert. Every time you think you're getting closer, it disappears on the horizon. The reason so many people are stuck in the never-ending cycle of more money is because they've never taken the time to define their personal version of enough. Is it $50,000 a year? $500,000? Or maybe it's not about a dollar amount at all. Maybe it's about the freedom to spend time with family, travel, or pursue a passion project. Take a moment to think about what enough means to you. Not what society says you should want, not what your friends or neighbors have. What would make you feel content? Here's a little exercise. Write down the things that truly matter to you in life. Then, write down how much money you think it would take to live that life. You might be surprised at how little you actually need to feel content. The real power comes from knowing when to stop chasing more and start appreciating what you already have. Once you define what enough looks like, you take control of your finances instead of letting them control you. The key to breaking the never-ending cycle of more money is to set boundaries on your financial goals and learn to be content within them. Here's a quote I really like from the book, The Psychology of Money. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. This quote perfectly captures the essence of defining enough and taking control of your finances by setting boundaries and finding contentment within them. You can find a summary of the psychology of money on our channel. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far and want more topics like this, comment the word "more" so I know. Okay, let's get into some actionable tips for how to break free from this never-ending cycle of more money and start living a life that's focused on what truly matters. It's one thing to understand the concept, but it's another thing entirely to take action. So, here are 5 powerful steps you can take to free yourself from the constant chase for more. Track your spending with intention. Let's face it, most people hate tracking their expenses. It sounds boring and tedious. But here's the thing. If you don't know where your money is going, you'll always feel like you need more. By tracking your spending, you can identify areas where you're wasting money. And trust me, those little things add up. Apps like Mint or YNAB make this easier than ever. Set financial goals that align with your values. Have you ever noticed that some people seem perfectly content with a modest lifestyle while others are never satisfied no matter how much they have? The difference is that the content people have aligned their financial goals with their values. Whether it's saving for a down payment on a house, starting your own business, or planning for early retirement, set financial goals that reflect what's important to you, not what society tells you to want. Automate your savings. One of the most effective ways to break the cycle is to make saving money automatic. Set up direct deposits from your paycheck into a savings or investment account before you even see the money. That way, you're not tempted to spend it. Paying yourself first is one of the easiest ways to build wealth over time. Practice gratitude. This might sound a little fluffy, but there's real power in practicing gratitude for what you already have. Studies show that people who regularly practice gratitude feel more satisfied with their lives and are less likely to constantly want more. Start a gratitude journal, or just take a few moments each day to reflect on the things you're thankful for. Focus on experiences, not things. Research has shown that people derive more happiness from experience than from material possessions. Instead of spending your money on the latest gadgets or status symbols, invest in experiences that create lasting memories, like traveling, spending time with loved ones, or learning something new. Now, let's talk about something we often overlook: the real cost of constantly wanting more. And I'm not just talking about the financial cost here. I'm talking about the emotional and psychological toll it takes when you're caught up in the never-ending cycle of more money. You see, when you're always chasing the next thing, whether it's a higher paycheck, a bigger house, or the latest tech gadget, it's exhausting. You spend so much time and energy focused on what you don't have that you lose sight of everything you do have. Here's a question. When was the last time you truly felt content with your life? When did you last look around and say, you know what? I have enough. I don't need more to feel happy. For many of us, that moment is rare, if it happens at all. We're too busy running from one goal to the next, never stopping to appreciate what we've already achieved. But the truth is, constantly wanting more doesn't just drain your bank account. It drains your happiness, too. The real cost of living in the cycle of more is that you never get to fully enjoy what you've already worked for. Instead of feeling satisfied with your success, you're always left feeling like it's not enough. So how do you escape this cycle and start living a life of abundance without constantly chasing more? It starts with a shift in mindset. You have to move from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. A scarcity mindset is all about focusing on what you lack. It's the belief that no matter how much you have, it's never enough. It's the fear that you'll run out of money or that someone else's success means there's less for you. This mindset keeps you trapped in the never-ending cycle of more. But an abundance mindset is different. It's about focusing on what you already have and recognizing that there's more than enough to go around. It's about trusting that you'll always have what you need as long as you use your resources wisely. Here are 3 things you can do to cultivate an abundance mindset. Shift your focus to what you have. Instead of constantly thinking about what you need to buy or achieve next, focus on what you already have. Take a look around your life, your home, your relationships, your career. Chances are, you've already accomplished a lot. Recognize that and be proud of it. Invest in relationships, not things. The real wealth in life comes from the people you surround yourself with, not the things you own. Spend time building meaningful relationships with family, friends, and your community. These connections will bring you far more fulfillment than any material possession ever could. Give back. One of the best ways to break the cycle of more is to give. Whether it's donating money, volunteering your time, or helping someone in need, giving back reminds you that there's more than enough to go around. And when you shift your focus from accumulation to contribution, you'll find a deeper sense of satisfaction and purpose. So there you have it. The never-ending cycle of more money is a trap that so many of us fall into. But the good news is, you can break free. It starts with redefining what enough means for you, focusing on what truly matters, and shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Remember, money is just a tool. It's there to help you build a life that aligns with your values, not to keep you stuck in a cycle of always wanting more. If you found this video helpful, I highly recommend watching my next video, which is the perfect complement to this one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And before you go, tell me in the comments, how do you define enough? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.